the approval of minutes for October 19th, 2020 special meeting with the town council and the November 16th monthly meeting. Scanning through the notes, I had no problems with it. Anyone else or questions at this point?
None whatsoever.
I'm
Sandra?
good. I'm
Okay,
good.
so we'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 19th and the special meeting, as well as the November 16th monthly meeting. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second.
Okay, I think Sandra seconded it first. Tom, how do you vote?
Aye.
Sandra?
Aye.
And Brad votes aye. Okay. Second
Brad?
item.
Brad,
What's
before
that?
you go on, I have one question about the increasing the allotment for different places. There's an awful lot of building going on the island. Do we have enough capacity for all of those?
I think we have more than ample capacity at this point. The concern is in the future of that, but I can let John address that, but I don't think we have an issue at the present time, and probably not for the next few years.
I can address that in item number 4, Tom.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So back to item 2, discussion potential action regarding the approval of 2021 annual meeting schedule. Did everyone get a copy of that and look at that? I mean, it's pretty much standard. I don't think there's any concern with it that I can see from my point of view. Anyone else?
Susie, could you just confirm that it's the January and the February meetings are the only changes to the, and the April meeting were the only changes to the regular schedule?
Yeah, January is due to the holiday and February and April are due to the school vacation schedule.
Assuming there is a normal school year, but anyway.
Yes, as it stands right now, I should say.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve those.
So moved.
I'll second. Sandra?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Brad votes aye as well. Item 3, discussion of potential action regarding open board positions. This is on the agenda because, as you all know, there is currently we don't have to deal with this immediately, but currently a vacant due to the untimely passing of Steve, and we do have alternates on there. I'm hoping that, someone like, Sandra, if you would maybe step up to become an active voting member. I don't know, but, and then we still have to fill an alternate position as well.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we move Sandra to the vacant voting position, and we'll see about getting a new alternate. Any second?
Second.
Okay, this is Brad. I vote aye. Tom?
Aye.
And I guess, Sandra, you have to vote.
Aye.
Okay.
And that would be a recommendation to the town council.
That is a recommendation to the town council, but I don't think there'll be any problem. So, Susie, can you do a memo to that effect to the town council, please?
I will.
And then if you guys know of any good people, we need someone new. So if you guys know of any good people, I have some ideas and might talk to some people as well. So
I've got a couple of ideas as well. I think there's a few people out there, but with the way things are right now, it's not easy to get people to volunteer for these commissions either.
Oh, but I feel like it's a lot, I'll use the word easier, that we are meeting remotely.
okay.
That's true. That's true. So we'll see what happens. If you've got any ideas, though, forward them, and we'll all do that. We'll get them to, well, actually, we probably have to contact those people because they will have to put together a letter to us and the town council as well. Okay, update on planning board discussions. And John, you can see if you can address Tom's issue as well.
Yeah.
Question.
So, a few months ago, we decided to start a conversation with the planning board regarding, what Tom was talking about, seeing that there's a fair amount of development going on, and you know, and we've said this before, the sewer is in a much better place than the water when it comes to capacity. So Dylan and I attended the planning board meeting. It was a long meeting and it was at the end. So it was a little difficult. It was almost 3 hours long. And you know how when meetings go that long, people don't, you know, when you're the last on the, you know, the meeting, it's tough. We also,
So in other words, there weren't many people still there.
no, I mean, all the members were still there. We also had I think three retiring members, I believe, and that was their last meeting. So we'll kind of have to start over the discussion, but we all realize that we're starting this discussion. This is, you know, we'll be on, you know, agendas this winter and through the spring discussing this.
Who's
And,
retiring, just out of curiosity?
I think Sam Bird, Amy might know more than me. I know Sam
Tony,
Pappas, and
I can't think of the last.
Margie's not, is she?
no, and Christine Creel is staying on. I don't know who the other member is. So,
Okay. All right.
anyway, so we started the conversation. They were receptive and will be on subsequent meeting agendas to try to kind of tackle this issue of, you know, does the water district expand with the expansion? How do we handle the development? I think everyone agreed that, you know, when there is a start and whispers and Jen Brady starts getting, you know, development plans and all this, that the water and sewer should be clued in a little earlier on the process. So, you know, we're refining the process of how that works. And anyway, it should be good. I think Dylan and I will end up working maybe with Jen and with Allison Ring, the town planner, to discuss some of these issues and kind of come up with maybe more of a game plan
Okay.
for that. So I'll keep you guys updated. And if Dylan wants to add anything, you know.
No, there's nothing here that I need to add. I think you covered all the points. Again, we're just going to have to meet again and kind of go over this all. But hopefully next time we're on the forward part of the agenda, and so they'll listen and we can go on our way. That was, but it was productive, and I have to say it was nice being a part of that. So that's it. Thanks.
Okay. Any other things to discuss? No. Okay. Well, that's just planning board, which had somewhat to do with Tom, but Tom's question. Okay. Moving to sewer district. Discussion potential action regarding JT Cleary billing rate, cable burying, reburying project. I spoke briefly with Dylan on this, but let's hear some more too.
Yes. So we're looking at a bentonite water plus normal septage disposal. I'd say normal, that is, you know, potties like for a contractor. But the bentonite water, I have been in contact with the DEM, and they are requiring a number of testing requirements, of which I've been able to provide: pH, alkalinity, total suspended solids, BOD. So there's some lab labor there, as well as an excess use of chemicals. The bentonite water stays in suspension. So the initial loads that I received, they required close to 4 times the amount of dosing for polymer to make it settle and compact. So that was significant. I did include in the packets a general overview of where we were standing. However, I would like to consider specifically for the bentonite discharges that we look at increasing the disposal fee to cover the labor costs of the lab, as well as the extra chemicals. So currently our pump out fee is $125 per 1,000. So I would like to recommend 150, and then as well as any excessive solids, we'd be considering a surcharge. That surcharge is based on 1/3 of total treatment, breaking down water, BOD, and solids. We broke down the cost to about $4 per pound. And then to quantify their solids within each gallon, I multiplied it by that factor and to come up with that surcharge value there. So it's based on a normal standard practice, and then as well as I guess a comprehensive calculation that Jim helped me with. So that's pretty standard there. Does anyone have any questions or in regard to treatment or fees?
I'm sorry, I should know this, but I don't exactly understand what this is for.
This is all for the cable. That all has to do with what's going on off of the town beach for the cable reburying.
Yeah,
And this is going to be part of the discussion when we get to the water as well, because both Dylan and John and their crews are working almost summer-like hours, taking care of their issues. They want as much water that John can supply as what we do in the summer, and they're currently being throttled to about half of that just because of the amount. We don't have a huge staff, as anyone knows, and this is above and beyond. So this ties in with a little bit of what's going to be coming up with the water. But I feel that, you know, with what's going on with the water, we're looking at summertime rates, and we're going to be billing as such. You know, Dylan's doing the work right now, and his staff of summertime work for this sort of thing. And then above that, so the discussion was there should be a surcharge on there, and moving it from 125 to 150, I think is more than fair for what they're having to do.
but what are we
for-
treating? But what are we treating? I don't understand what we're treating.
I'll let Dylan
But where's
explain
that?
that.
Okay.
Okay, then that's an excellent question. I appreciate that. So the initial response was to hold it, to analyze the water, the wastewater. Bentonite is a clay. It's mainly mineral. However, it's very light, so that's why it stays in suspension. Once it is mixed with polymer, the polymer kind of agglomerates with the bentonite clay in the water, and it separates.
Uh-oh, I think I lost you.
I think I lost him too. Is that?
Okay, no, I got him again. It was just
and-
like a moment. I thought it was me. Okay,
Bentonite is like drilling mud. It's what they keep it's what's in the hole to keep the hole from caving in, essentially.
so basically you're treating what they are drilling to put the pipe in.
Yeah, it's like drilling mud, essentially, is what it's called.
It's what they're adding and stuff.
That's what I
Yeah,
was
okay.
trying to understand.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
So I think what Dylan's suggesting is more than fair, if almost less than fair in some cases. But I have no problem with that, and I don't know what your feeling is, Sandra, or you, Tom, but I think that we should approve his request on that.
I do too.
I'm good.
I'm going to make a motion that Dylan, you move forward with the rate at 150 per thousand. And if you re-examine that and find out that is not enough, we re-examine it. But I'd like to approve it at 150 would be my motion right now, and make sure you're double checking that constantly.
I think he wanted the $4 per pound of solids processing too, Brad, as well.
Yeah, well, I meant that would be included in there
Okay,
too.
all right. I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Do we need a second, please?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, Tom,
Aye.
Sandra,
All right.
and Brad votes aye. Okay, next item on the agenda for sewer is discussion and potential action regarding the service building garage door bid awarding. Dylan? Or did we lose him again?
Okay, we
I think
lost
he's
him.
reconnecting right now through his phone, I believe.
Because I don't have anything in my packet on the bidding portion of it.
It's right after, it's the page after the JT Cleary processing grid.
Okay.
Okay,
Oh, okay, I'm
Hey.
sorry. I see it on there.
I apologize for that. That was, my computer died.
Okay, so we're at the getting information on the garage door.
Okay. Received one bid, 37,000 and change from Morin and Pepin. They were the ones that had installed the garage doors in the dewatering facility. I feel it's a competent bid. We have Spalding Electric tied in to do all the electrical work. I'm recommending it as that the sewer commission accept the bid and make a motion to award it to Morin and Pepin.
What was the budget, thought out budget for it or proposed?
60,000 I put in there for that. Considering the high cost of those garage doors for the dewatering facility, I did not want to
Right.
underdo it.
Is this
Okay.
door, how many doors? One door?
3.
3 doors, so they're not high speed. All right.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the bid.
Second.
All in favor? Sandra,
Aye.
Aye.
Tom's aye, and Brad's aye. Okay, next item on the agenda, let's see here. Discussion potential action regarding COVID-19 wastewater treating update. I had someone ask me about that, but I think we're still on the same page, Dylan, where you've done the treatment, which is great, but is it giving us any information that is being utilized by the town?
I would agree. And, I did write a letter. I did not receive response in relation to anyone from the community in that way, which, with the vaccine coming, I think there is a sense of hope there, which is great. I am going to, my recommendation at this time, I did go through the billing. I did receive a $4,050 back for testing. I'd like to put that back into contingency to hold tight. And I agree, as if the decision makers of the town have little use of the information, then we should just stand by and wait for them to ask, or wait until we have better funding opportunities.
I would agree with that. I mean, if they're coming to us and saying we can use it, I mean, we had a recent surge, I guess, last week now or 2 weeks ago. I don't know what the current status is. I don't think there was an update. I don't know if you've heard anything, Amy. But if other than saying it's a nice report, I don't know if it's worth spending the money on if it's not being utilized. So I'd say we table it and do what you're suggesting.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yep.
Okay. All right. That doesn't really require any action, does it?
No. Nope. I don't think
Okay.
so. Not unless David thinks otherwise.
No, no action is necessary.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Item 8 on the agenda, discussion potential action regarding sewer financials and aging. Well, let's go over the financials. I don't know if Mona was able to join us at this point. It doesn't look like it, but I'm not
No,
sure.
and to that extent, I'm happy to take any questions or field them if I can, or take them back if I need to. If anyone has concerns, I didn't see anything on the surface that was a red flag or stood out as something to be concerned about at this point.
No, and as far as aging goes, it's I hate to say usual culprits, but it's the usual culprits for
How about
customers, I guess.
suspects?
There you go, suspects. There you go. So I'm good. I'm good on that respect. If anyone, Sandra, if you have any questions or anything.
Nope.
Okay.
I know that always surprises you when I say that, but no.
Well, I mean, nothing we can do about it right now. However, the potential tax sale is coming up after the beginning of the year, if I'm not mistaken.
I am happy to see that the pump out fees were back up this year.
Well, considering all when I look at the tourism dollars that came in, I'm actually shocked. But anyway, I guess that's it for that. Item 9, operations report. Dylan.
Yes. So all lab results were well within our permit limits. Normal maintenance checks and the like. A big part of our time was going through and making room for JT Cleary, making sure we had capacity there. We brought down two 50,000-gallon basins and a 30,000-gallon tank to make sure we had that capacity. So far, so good. We've received close to 40 to 50,000, and most of the water is decantable. Now that they're using the frac tanks, it's easier to treat, so that was good. pH, alkalinity, everything has been right within line of permit, so that has been good. And holding capacity is still there. So
Are the flow rates applicable to because there's more people out here? Or I mean, I certainly wasn't busy. I was closed, so business-wise. But is it more because there's more people out here, or what do you treat? Because I don't know what December's looking like, but November, I was shocked how high it was.
no, we're still, yeah, we're still up. Our flows are still, and of course that the billable flows goes back to John at the end of the month. But as far as what I am seeing, we are definitely looking better than we thought at the onset of the summer, for sure. And they're staying, and for whatever reason, and they're using the toilets. So there it is.
Good. Well, I guess that's good. That is good. Okay. I am gonna, just to put this on the horizon, I don't want our budgeting process to be based on these high numbers, because next year I don't think is going to be a whole lot different than this year, except maybe after July. But I'm just very cautious about things. But anyway.
No, and I agree. Susie, we should note that in the minutes.
Will do.
Okay. All right. Any questions from anyone? Okay, moving on to the Water District. Item 10, discussion potential action regarding the special water rate for JT Cleary, which goes a little bit hand in hand with what we discussed about the sewer department. John, I'll let you take over, and we'll just I will say in advance that John's approached me on it. I'm 100% in compliance with charging summer rates, but as well as them covering every other aspect of any increase in there. Maybe there should be a little bit of a surcharge in there as well, John. I'm not sure what your thoughts are.
I've thought about this a lot. I've spoken with Amy about it, and I really do think the easiest, most streamlined process would just be to charge a different rate. Brad and I have spoken about summer rates, and it's taking up a lot of time. And sometimes we account for them to use water overnight, and then they don't use it. So it's frustrating on that end when you send someone up to the water plant before bedtime and, incur cost overtime or lost hours during the day, and then you don't get any metered usage overnight. So it's just been a lot. I mean, I talk with these people probably at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And they could easily double, triple, or quadruple our flows on any given day. So, I think we'd like a motion to that effect, if that's what the commission would like to do.
I'm in 100% agreement, but it should be discussed at least with the board members here. So Sandra, Tom, what are your thoughts on it? I think there should be the surcharge on there. Maybe it should be a separate rate specifically for this. There's a lot of work that these guys are doing that is not normal this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, the reason being they're adding hours, and also they're very temporary, meaning they're not paying the same rates essentially as the rest of our customers do. And that's kind of the foundation behind charging them differently, in my opinion. So they're not getting a monthly customer charge. They're not a long-term customer. They're showing up, they're taking a lot of time in water, and they'll be gone in a couple months. So.
And there's also times when you're not expecting you're putting a lot of time in as well. And
yes,
and that's not easy on us. So I think all of our charges should be getting covered for that.
I wonder, okay, so this was the cable that was put there, and then it wasn't buried sufficiently, so they had to come back and redo their work.
Absolutely is what it is. Yeah. And they're doing more work on this one than what they did the first time, which is totally 100% wrong to begin with. But
maybe they're doing more because they did it wrong the first time.
Yeah, but they also overbid by like 500% on what it was. Anyway,
All right.
so John, I'm going to make a motion. Well, John, do you have specifics that you want to look at, or
I
do we
think
need
it
to
just
address
would
that
be,
separately?
I think the motion would be to charge JT Cleary, you know, summer water rates. If you want that number, I can,
Should it be more than that's my question.
no, I don't, I think that would be unreasonable at that point. And I think that's a reasonable amount. So
Well, I like being reasonable, but these guys have put you guys through hell, and they're putting this whole island through hell for something that shouldn't even be
No,
happening. So
I also don't want to, I don't want to get pushback on their end as well. So that would be 32.93 would be the rate per thousand if you guys
plus
wanna-
what? Any kind of additional expenses and costs associated with it, correct?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, they're using some of our equipment right now, and when we have to go deal with them in person, I'm charging them hourly for that. So any other charges or fees you can put in there. But I'm charged. When I have to go down and fill up their tugboats, and stand there and deal with it, I'm charging them the hour that I have to be down there filling up the tugboats.
They should be charging for the equipment,
Yeah, as you should.
and everything else. This is not. You like to be nice sometimes, and they're not. This is inappropriate, and I appreciate being fair, but at the same time, this is wear and tear on our equipment, and as well as our employees, just like with Dylan, and that is not something that is normal. That theoretically could cause a problem for us. That they're not going to be helping us with. I have no problem charging more.
If there's one thing I haven't been a nice guy with, it's these people. So I've been pretty stern with them because they'll take a mile if you give them a little bit. So I've learned that, and I've been holding lines with them pretty well. So, but I do think the summer rate, I think it's easy. I think it's easy to do. I don't think we're going to get challenged on it. I think we just.
I'm in agreement with the summer rate, but I think there should be a. We'll call it a installation service charge on there that should be a little bit extra as well. I mean, you're looking at, Dylan's charging an extra 20% on top of the regular per thousand rate on there, and I think that we should be looking for the same exact reason, charging that extra 20% at least when it comes to the equipment, service, hours, all that sort of thing as well. Because this is something that'll affect the ratepayers if something breaks or if you guys break as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if
So
you
I'd
want
like
to
to-
add something on the hourlies or, above and beyond what we normally charge,
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that for the water itself, we charge the summertime rate. And as far as any extra charges on there, there'd be an additional 20% surcharge on it for equipment, hours, that sort of thing as well.
Mhm. Yeah.
Any thoughts? That's my motion, but discussion.
Well,
I agree.
before discussion, yeah, what was the original deal? Was this discussed at all, or
No,
was it to be figured out?
I met with them in August. They came to the water plant, and I just put it this way: the expectation of what I was expected to give them and what's actually happening is very different. In other words, they thought they'd use a minimal amount of water, and they've been using a lot more. And it's been a lot more of, let's say, a headache and a lot more labor on the water company end than I expected. Part of it's because they're a 24-hour operation, and right now it's just Jordan and I.
Yeah.
So, that when something's operating 24 hours a day and you're not, it becomes difficult, So
They expect
Well,
to
then
be
all
responded
the
to
more
20.
reason. I mean, that's
when
They
it's 2 in the
expect to be
morning,
responded to
with-
24 hours a day.
yeah, when it's 2 in the morning and they want water,
Well,
they don't call me, but we have to set up our plant like they will use water at 2 in the morning, and a lot of it. So, and we have to
Yeah.
keep the tanks full for fire protection. So we don't let it drop to a certain point. So
Okay, so here's the question. Is 20% enough? Should
Well,
it be
I
25?
agree.
Should it be 50? And
I-
I'm not looking for you, John. I want to hear what the other commissioners think.
there isn't a,
Tom, go ahead. Tom?
well, if there was no original deal, then I think it's perfectly reasonable to tell them that they're going to be charged according to the usage that they've had. and that we were not planning on them using our equipment. And we weren't planning on having a huge supply of water available.
And on call.
Whether or not they need it. And you have 2 men on call.
And only 2
I
men
think
working.
So, I mean,
Yeah,
just
well,
so
I
you
mean,
know, the labor,
the surcharge. Go ahead. I'm
the
sorry.
labor won't add up to too much. I mean, I can't charge them for, you know, if we're charging them a summer rate, I can't charge them to, you know, come when someone comes up here and shuts down. I am charging them when I have to deal with them on site, when I have to be there to physically do labor. So I don't think it surmounts to much. It's an hour here, it's an hour there, and now that we're kind of set up in a routine, it becomes less. So I would hope.
However,
So
if you're
it's
going
not
up there
a
and
ton of
getting
money.
set up and it's costing time and effort to do that, and then they don't even use it, I'm sorry, if any other business, you'd be paying for it. And
That's not happening. It's just the fact that we have to come up here and shut off the plant, and that's why we're charging summer hours, is because we're putting extra effort into it. When I'm actually on site, that doesn't surmount to that much money. 20% on, you know, a few hours isn't all that much, you know. So it's a little bit of a
it's the
moot
principle
point.
of it, and I don't want to undermine this. I'm looking. I want to see the same 20% increase that we're doing down at the sewer plant.
Okay, that's fine. I'm fine with it. I just, you know, adding 50 and whatnot, I'm just saying it's not going to add that much more. You know, we're talking about hundreds of dollars, not thousands of dollars. And, you know, it's not much of a difference.
Sandra?
Well, I'm concerned more about, I mean, not that I'm not worried about the labor and these guys are, you know, they need to pay for that, but if they're using our machinery, you know, the users are not responsible for wear and tear on the machinery. So if these guys have machinery at their disposal, which is super nice, you know, they're not having to rent one from the other side, bring it over on the ferry. If they had to do all of that, you know, what does that cost?
What machinery are you speaking of, though?
I thought they were using our equipment.
No, I mean, they're using a backflow preventer and and I have to meter them. So I created a meter and a backflow preventer setup that I think I'll end up charging them I have to charge them for using that. It's not necessarily machinery. I would call it equipment, but I will charge them a rental fee or something for using the meter. I'll probably charge them a subtraction meter fee.
Why wouldn't you charge them for a brand new backflow preventer?
It's exactly what I'm thinking, because you're not going to want to use, I don't want to use something in my business used after the fact.
What's the cost of a backflow preventer, John?
A 2-inch backflow RPZs. Oh, they're pretty expensive. They're under 1,000, I think.
Oh, come on. They should let them have it. It's their parting gift.
That's right. It's $1,000 charge, though.
I thought about it.
No, there's no thinking. That's what we do.
Okay.
Okay. That's part of the motion. We'll add that in. I've got to re-synopsize this for you, Susie, I think. But my motion will be that we approve John's suggestion of summertime flow rates. Any added hours or anything, have an extra $20, any 20% surcharge on it. And the backflow preventer equipment they're using right now, they are paying for it 100 at a fee of cost of $1,000 are being billed for it. That's my motion.
I would only ask that they will pay for the backflow preventer, whatever it costs us. So if it costs us $980, we don't, you know, whatever it is, if it's $1,200, whatever the cost of the backflow preventer is.
Okay, that's fine.
And the meter?
And the meter too, yes.
Okay, that's fine.
Second for the motion.
I'll second.
Second.
Tom? I vote aye. Sandra?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. And it's their equipment after the fact. Okay, next item on the agenda. I'm gonna turn my lights on here. Okay, discussion regarding Jordan Ryan's resignation letter, vacation rollover requests as well. I think, Tom, Sandra, you're aware of the fact that Jordan's gonna be leaving us. At least I hope you are.
Yes.
Okay. This is a huge disappointment to us all. He's been doing such a great job, but we get it. He's also going to still remain to us if everything is approved, as a we'll call it a consultant at his existing rate, as well as working through, is it January, and then after that it would be
Every 2 weeks.
on a contract basis at his existing rates of pay right now, with no benefits and no OT or anything like that as well, correct?
Yeah, so he's developed a lot of vacation time, partially due to COVID, and there wasn't a lot of vacation taken. Usually would have taken more. So there's a lot of vacation time. What he's asking in this letter is to roll over that vacation time, and then he'll essentially use that vacation for his first 2-week shift, and then he'll come back and work for the next 2 weeks. We can't get him through another cycle on the vacation time, so his resignation date would be on January 31st, and then he's off. Also beyond that, we would like to essentially rehire him as a temporary, as needed part-time employee with no benefits. There's really no guarantee of hours, but it's a lot of value to have his knowledge and his licenses to keep around, at least for the next 2 years while they're valid, and we can cross the bridge when we come to it then. I've prepared some motions. I've spoke with finance, and we went through how are we gonna do this essentially. If everyone's amenable to accepting his resignation, rolling over his vacation hours, and hiring him as a part-time, as needed employee, then that's what I'd like to do, and I think it's the right thing to do.
I'm in agreement on that. I don't know what everyone else's opinion is, but historically we have had issues where people do roll things over, and that's never been an issue in the past. I'm trying to find my motion here. Hold on one second. Anyway, any questions or thoughts on that with Sandra or you, Tom?
In this situation, I feel like, what have we done in the past? But John's the superintendent, and I would defer to what he thinks he can deal with.
Well, I mean, to his point, even vacation time with the COVID crisis right now, when they were down people and everything else, they just simply couldn't take it this year and maintain sanitation and quarantining and everything else that's necessary. So that regardless of that, I would be in favor of it. So.
Yeah, and it's a unique situation. I mean, if you said no, we'd pay him out for it anyway. So it's doesn't really matter. If he was resigning at the end of the year and not giving us that extra 2 weeks, it'd just be a payout anyway. So we're gonna pay him for it no matter what.
I do think though that we have to think about whether it's in the future. Many corporations only allow you to, save a certain amount of days, to the next year for rollover, whether it's by percentage, whether it's by days, so that, you don't have a situation like this where someone has 3 weeks worth of vacation days.
It's 2 weeks, Sandra. You can usually roll over 2 weeks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's limited, but this year, because of COVID, I have no problem with any rollovers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to find my motion here. Hold on one second. I apologize.
You want me to resend it, bro?
Yeah, could you resend it real quick? Because I printed it and now I can't find it. Turn the lights on too. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, I'm waiting for that to come in. I can't find the one I have here. Hold on. If not, we'll move on to the next item of the agenda and come back to this.
I sent it on along to you.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so we got a few different motions here. First one's going to be a motion to, we're going to allow Jordan Ryan to roll over the balance of his accrued vacation hours from 2020 to 2021. I'll need a second on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Brad votes aye as well. Second motion would be accept Jordan Ryan's, formally accept his resignation as a full-time employee for the Block Island Water Company. That will be effective January 31st, 2021. Do I have a second?
Second.
How does everyone vote? Sandra?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
And Brad votes aye. And the third one would be to appoint Jordan Ryan as a temporary water operator effective February 1st, 2021. The terms of employment are on an as-needed basis at $25.43 per hour, which is the existing rate, and an on-call duty of $30 per day. This is a non-benefit eligible position, and any hours or on-call duty shall be pre-approved by the superintendent prior to usage. I need a second.
Second.
Sandra?
Aye.
Brad votes aye. Tom?
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is discussion of potential action regarding the new hire for the water operator, position 1. John's had some nice interviews with a gentleman. I'll let him go over it, but I am fully behind his choice.
Yeah, I had a interview with Tig O'Neill. I don't know if any of you know Tig. He's a recent college grad from Mass Maritime Academy, but he had a lot of environmental work that was done. So he's got a great education, very similar to my education, which I like. What this does is it'll be able to shorten his licensure time from 4 years to 1 year. I think Brad and I also had a second interview with Tig, and it went very well. I think he's going to be a good member of the team. And I'm excited, with Jordan leaving, it's sad, but I think there's a good, bright future here for Tig, and I'm excited to get moving on his training. I am recommending that he be hired full-time at $18 an hour due to that bachelor degree in science, and starting January 1st on the new year. I don't want to really hire someone around the holidays or get them started. So be effective January 1st, 2021.
Any questions or thoughts?
No, sounds great.
Okay, we all hate to lose Jordan, but I think Tig is a good opportunity for us, especially with the licensing convenience that he offers. And he's grew up on the island, if you guys don't know him. So he's got a very good allegiance here. He's got some good basic plumbing background as well that I'm sure Jordan and John can even improve on. And I will make a motion that we do hire him at the recommended $18 per hour.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tom? And Brad votes aye.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Next item, discussion and potential action regarding the financials and aging. I know Mona's still not here. Is there anything that we should know? Amy?
Again, I didn't really see any particular areas of concern in the water. I think you spoke last month about the allocation and the penalties and those high level of allocation charges, which is great. But otherwise, nothing in particular that I think you need to be aware of.
I mean, I do see one on the aging. There's one customer on page 1 that I don't normally see at that level, I don't think. I could be wrong, which is about the first 25% of the page, customer number 25.
I would agree that's unusual, and I think we'll follow up on that.
I have updates on that.
Okay.
I believe they purchased, it's a big bill because they had some issues this summer and they tend to have some plumbing issues, but they had a couple this summer. And there has been a payment, I believe, I think it just came in too late for this, but they purchased
Okay.
some allocation and they had some go towards the bill. So, and then that'll take off the penalty. So I don't know whether it'd be paid in full, but it should be fairly close. So there has been some action on that. It was kind of one of these allocation, you know, they were purchasing allocation, so.
Okay. I mean, other than that, other than the one culprit that's between sewer and water, probably approaching $50,000 or $60,000, but I think our tax sale will take care of that. Yeah, I don't have any major questions. Okay. Moving on. Water operations. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Nope, that's right. Are we going in? We're going to hold off the executive session till the end. Okay, so water operations report.
You know, the only thing to, you know, really report is we're still kind of in this COVID cocoon, one at a time. And, you know, Jordan and I have both been regularly tested, and, you know, we've been working alone a lot. I do some outside things with him on other days. And, you know, I have a JT Cleary directional drilling project thing that you guys can read, but we kind of went over that. Otherwise, besides them and them kind of disrupting our world, things are fairly normal here, and you guys can read it if you want. I'm spending a fair amount of time.
What's an update on your employee that's out on medical right now?
You know, I hopefully by the new year. If not, then it'll be shortly after that. So.
Okay, because I did speak with her when I was out getting COVID tested, and she said she's almost got full range of motion back, and
she's getting there. So hopefully by the new year we'll be getting there, and at least it might be on a limited basis, or you know, some kind of smaller basis. But if you guys, you know, the High Street replacement project, I've been working with Jim. This is to note, actually. I've been working with Jim. We're gonna, on a change order, a small change order, we're gonna clean up the kind of Pilot Hill mess, I'll call it, that's developed over a number of years. We've got multiple private services running on public right-of-ways, which it gets messy, as we found in the past. So that's being paved by the town anyway. So we're gonna go in there, and you know, we're under budget anyway. So we're gonna go in there and install a 4-inch main a few hundred feet up the road, and then it'll end up getting paved over by the town. So we don't have to pay for the pavement. That way it'll straighten out, and we'll have normal, regular water services for those that are at the property line, instead of them running 400 feet up a public right-of-way. And essentially it cleans that up. We also have a new customer that wants to be added up there as well. So that'd be
up on Payne Road?
No, up Pilot Hill, you know, just short, you know, there's a few houses right there that are on town water. So we're just kind of cleaning up that. We didn't want to add another 1-inch water line on a public right-of-way. So it's being paved by the town already. We might as well straighten out the mess that, you know, it become more of a mess. And then we'll have a 4-inch water main running a little bit up, and we'll just provide normal water services like most of the other customers we have. So that's about it. And other than that, we're under contract with Boyle & Fogarty, and as far as I know, they're working to procure pipe and submittals and everything else they need to do. So we're on track and on time so far.
Okay, very good. Any questions, Tom, Sandra?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, so right now we're at item 15. The Shore and Water Commission may vote to go into executive session pursuant to Rhode Island General Law 42-46-5, paragraph subsection A, pending litigation for the Division of Taxation case number 138-00990 regarding the appeal of the sales tax. I think that we do need to go into the executive session to discuss this. I've had some conversation with John as well as Amy and Dave on this. So I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor? Sandra?
Aye.
Okay, Tom's aye, I think he said, and
Aye.
Brad is aye. So so we have to actually leave this and come in on a different thing. Is that right, Sandra?
Nope.
Sandra.
No, I'm
Susie?
just gonna ask the Block Island Times to leave, which I can.
Thank
We
you,
can-
Lars. We'll miss
Thanks,
you.
Lars.
Thank you, Lars.
Thank you,
We'll
Lars.
miss you.
Merry Christmas,
Thank you,
Lars.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you. I
Take care.
appreciate it. Take care. See you around town.
Do you guys want me to stay or go? I'm happy either way.
think
I want you
Amy
to
should
stay.
Not getting out that easy, Amy.
Yeah. Susie, I've re-enabled the waiting room, so now anyone else who wants to try to get in will have to get permission. So
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
proverbial
so,
locking of the virtual door. So
all right, Dave, let's hear it.
so